Your attendance has been bumped by one extra. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, we'll see.
All right. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and start up. So today's presentation is over OverDrive. So OverDrive is our South Dakota titles to go. So the books can be downloaded to your Kindle, your Nook, or any other electronic device like your phones. So you can read books from our library anywhere and anytime. So to do this, you need to click on the Help tab on our website where there are instructions for downloading to your device. You will need a library card to do this. So you can find either at this website here, but the easiest way is to go through our electronic resources page on our website. So here I have you go to our website and then you go to resources, e-resources, ebooks and audiobooks, and then OverDrive. So first we're going to start with how you log on with a computer. So first you're going to sign in. To do this, you're going to need to make sure you check that you are with the Vermillion Public Library. And then you will need your card number, which is on the back of your library card. And if you lost your library card for some reason, you can always call us and we will help you with that. And then your password for your account should just be your last name, all lowercase. So far, so good? All right. So to borrow the books on the computer, you will click on the book cover or borrow, and then you can choose the length of the checkout. So you can either download it as an EPUB or read it in your browser. So you can basically like download it as a document, or you can just keep the web page open. So if you want to read that document though, you'll have to download the OverDrive app onto your computer. So it's just kind of an extra step. And then if you want to read it as a Kindle, and on your Kindle, you need to make sure that you're registered with an Amazon account. And then you just click Get Library Book and then deliver to that device's name. Here I have some pictures, so you can see here it says borrow. That's what you click. And then it'll ask you again. And then it'll ask you here how long. Or if you want to read it with Kindle, you can click that and it'll take you to the Amazon account. And then you'd have to click Get Library Book and deliver it to this. So here I have a video that shows you everything I just talked about, which might be a little bit easier than me just saying click this button. So just check.
Now, this isn't audiobooks, this is reading.
This is reading or audiobooks as well, so it's all the same.
And magazines.
Yeah, and magazines, we do have those. So here you can see I'm going up to catalogs, ebooks and audiobooks, and it takes me here. So I go to sign in. I've got Vermillion Public Library, which you probably have to search for it, which is what I wanted to show you. So from there, you type in your card number and then your last name. You sign in. So here, we have also the Libby app, which we'll talk about here, but you can look through either subjects, collections, whatever you're looking for, specifically Kindle books, kids, teens, and magazines. So say I wanted to borrow one of these. I wanted to borrow this one. It's an ebook. I can look at it, read about what it's about, look at other details and such, other books like that. And I can add it to my wish list, things like that, look at the reviews. It'll tell me there how many copies are available. I can rate it, what kind of formats there are. And then I decide I want to borrow it. So I can borrow it for 14 days. And then I just click borrow. Now it's on my account. I I click register with Kindle, but I don't actually have an account signed up with it, but I did want to show you what that is. So that's how you would do that, and it should just be sent to that device. So I can download it there, but I don't have that app downloaded on my device. So if you don't have it, it will say that. So now I can read it in my browser. And then when I'm done with it, I just hit return title. So here I can look at my account, and I can look at any wish lists or holds or any kind of recommendations and the settings on my account. So here you can see other ebooks. So that one's not available. So now I can place a hold on it and see if that's what I want. Look at a sample of it. It's pretty nifty. Just fill that out, and then you would have to wait. It does say about 4 weeks, which is pretty nice. And then we'll be talking about the Libby app here soon if you want to have that more mobile option, which is pretty nice. So a little bit more about that, how you can have offline access, which is really nice. You can look through all of them just like online. It's probably just set up just a little bit different. So pretty nice. So this is a little introduction to Libby.
Meet Libby, the library reading app. With Libby, you can borrow free ebooks, digital audiobooks, and magazines from your library. All you need is a library card. When you open Libby for the first time, you'll search for your library. Then you can explore the collection and borrow titles or place holds instantly. On your shelf, you'll find all your loans, holds, and tags. By default, loans are automatically downloaded for offline use when you're on Wi-Fi. Your loans are returned automatically on their due dates, so you never need to worry about late fees. Tap Manage Loan to see more options about each title, like returning early. Tap a title to open it and start reading. If you belong to a library in the United States, you'll see the option to send most ebooks to Kindle or to start reading in Libby. Use the footer to search, visit your library, access your shelf, and see your timeline. You can also open your current read. In the Libby menu, you can see your notifications, add a library, get help, and more. Download Libby to start borrowing today. Happy reading!
So with we'll just go over that again, but how to download the Libby app from your mobile device, you need to go into your app store. I believe with Androids, it's usually your Google App Store, and then with iPhones, it's your App Store. It is free. So here I have a screenshot of what that would look like on an iPhone. So you'd have to hit the Get, is what it looks like. You get the Get button, and it'll download to your phone. So log on with that. It's a lot like OverDrive. You make sure you select your library, you enter your card number, and your last name is your password. So then you can search through the website. You click on the magnifying glass. I don't know if you saw that in the video. And then you can type in your title, the author you're looking for, and then the results that show are items that can be borrowed or placed on hold. So the place hold indicates an item is checked out. So there is a wait time, but you can select this option to have the book checked straight out to you when it is ready. And borrow means that it's ready to be checked out now. So here you can see the magnifying glass in the corner. And then you're gonna search for a specific book or an author or something. So here we're looking up the Twin Towers. So here I can borrow that one, but if I wanted this second one, I would have to wait. And the headphones down here, you can see where it says 4 hours. That indicates that it is an audiobook. So I decided I want to check out this one that I need a hold on. So I click on that and that would be ready for me to borrow in about 6 weeks because there are 2 other people waiting and there's only 1 copy. So to borrow books with the Libby app, to borrow for the Kindle, you select borrow, you select read with the Kindle. It'll open up your Amazon app and you can choose which device you want to send it to. And then you click get library book. When you open your Kindle, connect it to the internet and wait for the book to download. So here you can see where it says borrow, and then you would click read with Kindle. And then you would click get book from that library, from that Amazon account, sorry. So to borrow for the Libby app, you would go to your shelf and then, which is on your settings, and you would select manage loan, read with, and then Libby. So here you would go to manage loan, and then down here in those settings there, you'd hit the shelf icon, which looks like little books. It's very cute. Then you would go with read with, and then you have the choice of your Kindle app or with your Libby. How to search within it, I mean, sometimes there's just too much. You've ever gone on that and tried to find something and you have all these results. So to narrow it down, you can select your preferences. So the kind of books that you're looking for, if you're looking for specific audiobooks or your magazines, the language, the audience, so especially for those with like kids, the availability, if you don't want to wait, you're looking for something to read now. Supported devices, if you only want to read with your Kindle or the OverDrive app. And then you can sort by the date, I suppose. And then refine your search is exactly the same. So say you're looking for a certain book and then you decide, well, I want it in this format or in this language. So there's 2, the difference between the 2 is preferences save those choices. So that is linked to your account, and refine just applies it to that search that you're looking for in that specific session. So here you can see where it says preferences. You can click any, but if you're looking for specifically books or audiobooks or magazines for format, then here in refine is where you would just search within those results, not, and it would not be saved. So any questions? Because I can go back over any of it. I can look online. I see we have some chat. So yeah, it works with any public library in the United States as well. And so unfortunately, OverDrive for mobile devices is going to become obsolete next year. So that's why we're telling people to start using Libby, because it is not, it will not be supported anymore. And then if you're in the middle of reading a book, it'll be gone. So if you're going to use an app, we do suggest Libby. But you do have till next year if you currently use the OverDrive app. I'm assuming the audiobooks are exactly the same on the Libby app, if that's what you're asking. It does not, I think you can, like I said, you can refine what you're looking for. If I'm assuming that's what you're asking. I assume Sioux Falls uses the same program as we do.
I don't know, I'd have to look, because I think Sioux Falls might have opted in to use the, a different product from a different vendor.
Okay,
So you would
yeah,
have to check on the Siouxland Library's website.
okay. So, any other questions?
I forget the exact number, but there's something like somewhere between 80 and 100 participating public libraries in South Dakota. Most of the libraries across the state are participating in some capacity. There are a few that are not.
So,
Once in a while, you guys get a book for me from another library.
yes,
Is that possible on here?
for interlibrary loan, no, it is
Okay.
not.
Well, that's kind of how this works. South Dakota Titles to Go is a shared collection across all the participating libraries. So rather than us buying one copy just for our library, the money goes into a big pool for all the libraries that are participating. So when a copy gets purchased, and sometimes they'll buy 3 or 4 or more copies, those copies are available to members at all the libraries across the state. So yeah, if you see a title and it has a long waiting list, that can also be part of the reason, because you're not just on a list of people from Vermilion, there could be multiple people from across the state. But I will say, there is a committee or a group at the state level that does the purchasing and watches those lists. So often if there are long holds, they might add extra copies if that's something they can do cost effectively. But in regards to interlibrary loan, this system kind of avoids that need because it's almost statewide anyway. Any library in the state can opt in to participate. There's just, there is an annual membership fee you have to pay, and part of that goes to paying to use the OverDrive system, but something like 85%, I don't remember exactly, goes into what they call a content pool, and that's the money the state uses to buy the audiobooks and ebooks that get added on. So, yeah. If you do come across a title you can't find in there and you want to read it specifically, especially if you want an ebook or a downloadable audiobook, you can let us know. Just like if there's a physical book you want to read, we can take a look and try and get it. I will say the licensing terms are a little trickier with ebooks. You don't just always buy it and own it. Different publishers let you buy them different ways. So sometimes we buy access for 12 months or 24 months or 30 checkouts. Not every publisher makes their ebooks available. Most of the major ones do, but not everyone makes their books available by OverDrive. You may have seen or heard or noticed lately, sometimes Amazon and Audible and some of those services have been snapping up audiobooks and ebooks and signing the authors or publishers up to exclusive rights to only make it available via their service. So that's a relatively small percentage, but it does happen. So if there's something you're really burning to read, and we can always take a look and see if it's something we can get in an ebook format. It's not always available, but we have done that. So, but the collection itself is available to all participating libraries in the state.
Yeah, and then the Libby versus OverDrive thing again. So OverDrive as a mobile app is going away. So when I say use OverDrive for your online website is what I mean for that. So if you're going to be reading or borrowing stuff online using a computer, you do need to use that website for the South Dakota Share It, and that's the OverDrive. But the Libby is mostly the app you would download on your phone or your tablet to read from there. So
I can maybe just clarify that as well, because it is a little confusing. The company name who provides the ebooks is OverDrive. And when they first started, the app they use was called OverDrive, and that's where it gets confusing. It's the OverDrive is the company, and OverDrive was the original app. After a few years of development, they redesigned their app to make it more user-friendly and appealing and attractive to use and easier to search. And that new app they came out with was called Libby, which is the one Kendra's trying to sell to you now. So the original OverDrive app, the first one they came out, was still available for a long time because some people already had it downloaded on their devices. They preferred using that. They were used to using it. And on some devices like a Kindle, you could use the OverDrive app, but not the Libby app. It wasn't available. But as Kendra mentioned, starting this year, the old version, the OverDrive app, is going to be discontinued and go away. You can still do all the same stuff. You will either just have to do it in a web browser on your mobile device or your computer, or you'll have to do it on the Libby app on your mobile device. The Libby app really is a lot nicer to use than the OverDrive one. It's had a lot more updates and refinements. And my understanding is if you already have the OverDrive app downloaded and on your device, I believe it may continue to work for a while. But if you're coming in for the first time, when you go to the App Store, you will no longer be able to find or download OverDrive. It will no longer be there. You would just look for Libby instead. And you'll see as well, when you search for it, in most of the app stores, it'll say Libby, an app by OverDrive, which that's the company name. So that's where it gets a little confusing between the two. OverDrive is the name of the company or vendor we work with, and Libby is their application or the new version of it. So.
Yeah, and Kathy has pointed out that she says that she uses Audible a lot, but you have to pay to listen to the books. So with having a library card, you get access to that for free, which is a lot more appealing than paying a monthly subscription to Audible. So I think I always recommend that too. I always tell my friends, they're like, what do you mean get a library card? But I'm like, get a library card. It gives access to so much stuff. And so I think that, yeah, it's really important to remember that we do offer a lot of things, and thankfully one of them is audiobooks. So. And
that's a great point, because I don't know if anyone has noticed or signed up for an Amazon account lately. They're kind of sneaky about that, because when you sign up, it'll try and sign you up for like a 30 or 60-day free trial of Audible, and it'll ask you to put in your information, and you actually have to remember to go in and cancel it in order to not pay for it anymore. So if you're not careful, your 30 or 60-day free trial, all of a sudden you'll start getting charged for. This one, like Kendra said, is completely free. You don't have to put any card information. All you need is your library card. If you don't have one and you live in Clay County, just come in. We'll get you signed up. You just need to provide a photo ID and proof that you live in Clay County. We'll get you your free library card and you'll be ready to go. So.
We're not linked to Audible, so I'm not 100% sure, like, if you downloaded it from the Libby app to anything. I don't believe that that's how that works. Audible is a private company.
If you download an audiobook on from like, and say push to Kindle, I believe it just goes into your like Carousel on your main page with all your regular ebooks and audiobooks. It doesn't open up in the Audible app. That's a separate subscription service you have to pay for through Amazon.
Yeah, so.
I'm gonna have to have my library card fixed. I just tried to use it and it wouldn't go.
Well, we can sure.
Well, we can sure take a look.
Yeah.
One thing to remember, your library card there's an expiration date in our system, and don't panic, that doesn't mean anything bad. Every year it will expire, and that's just so we will ask you to confirm your phone number and address, so we make sure your contact information is valid. We do sometimes run into instances, especially with how mobile people are, students in town, changing jobs, changing cell phone numbers. People will email us or put a book on hold, and we'll go to contact them to say your book's ready for pickup and their contact information is wrong, or we'll mail them an overdue notice and it will come back that the person no longer lives at that address. And one of the ways we found to make that a little easier was once a year, it will just prompt us to say, hey, is this information all right? So don't panic, you're not in trouble. All we would just do, you could either come in person, email us, or we'll do it over the phone just as well. And we'll just go in and we'll ask you to confirm your information and just renew it for another year. So if you do try your card and it's not working, there's a good chance that's the reason why.
I think that's what the deal is, because I probably haven't used it for more than a year.
Mhm.
Yeah, and online, if you're using yours for primarily like the Libby app and you're trying to sign in and it's not working, it's generally, that's what it is. And you just give us a call and we'll turn it back on.
And it'll take less than 2 minutes. It's
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
just like, we'll confirm your name, your card number, and then just ask you what your address and phone number and email address. We might ask you what your contact preference is. If you're someone who likes to use both ebooks and check physical books out from the library, we will often double check. Do you like to get a call, an email, a text message? Because there are some different options. It just depends what your preference is and how you use the library. So.
If anybody joining us on Zoom wants to unmute themselves to ask a question, that's okay too. If you don't want to type anything out. Or if you want me to go back over something, I sure can. It's a lot of information.
I was gonna say, can we be big babies and come in and have you help us?
Oh, yeah, people come in all the time. I mean, if you just want a quick demonstration, especially if you have a cell phone or a tablet you're doing it on, bring it in and come up to the desk and just say, can someone show me how to get logged into Libby? We'll walk you through it. Like, we'll help you, like, here's how you check out your first book, and just kind of give you a demonstration. Absolutely. Sometimes just doing it for the first time, getting the app downloaded, finding your library and getting it to save your library card is the worst part. After that, once it's on your device, it's there, it remembers you, and you can just log in and out and use it for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, most of the staff at the library here are more than comfortable, and several of us have done a lot of troubleshooting. So one of us will be able to show you. And if you don't have a mobile device, we can sure take you into the tech center on one of our computers and show you how to do it via a browser in the technology center, whether you want to do that at home on a laptop or a home computer, or you can just as easily do it here. You can check out a pair of headphones and listen to an audiobook in the library on the computer, or read an audiobook there. That's not the most convenient method for everyone, but that is always an option as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely if you need some help and you're not here today in person, or if you are, like, come in and help us. It's one thing to have me show you on a computer screen, but not you physically doing it. So. And
on those common devices, I think it's fairly straightforward. So the Androids, the Kindles, and the iPhones and that type of thing. If you have like an older, like a Nook, like that was the Barnes and Noble,
yeah,
sometimes they're a little tricky. If you have a very old Kindle Fire, that might cause a problem. Like, and I'm talking here, one of the really early versions that a lot of them don't even work anymore. Sometimes they have some compatibility issues, but I've not encountered that more than a handful of times, and not any time recently. With most of the devices you're likely to have now, the cell phones, tablets, and things like that, it'll just download the app and be ready to go. And the other nice thing is the browser version now looks almost identical to the app you download on your computer. So if you're used to using one and have to do it the other way for some reason, it'll look very familiar and feel the same. So.
You asked what a carousel is. So if you have a Kindle Fire, that's that spinning where all your books come in at. That's what he meant by carousel. So if you download an ebook or an audiobook, it would go to that carousel where you have all of your items that you can swipe through.
Yeah, it might look a little different depending on how you've got your Kindle configured. But when you click on that, usually books or purchases, things you own, you can often like spin or flip through them with your finger, and it'll show you ones you have checked out or purchased. They would show out there. I think on some of the Kindle Fires, you may just hit like books, and it'll just list them all, and you'll see like a cover picture for all the different ones you purchased and own. And usually they go in, unless you have a particular filter set, they're usually just in purchase order. So the most recent ones are usually right at the front at the start. They're usually the first ones you come across. So if you've just checked out a book or an audiobook, it should be right at the front of the list. But again, if you guys have any trouble, just want someone to walk you through it, we'd love to This is a great free service. And the nice thing is, if it's midnight and you've just finished reading your book and you're like, oh, I wish I had something else to read, and you know, the library's closed. And this, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can check it out anytime. So when you don't want to get out of your pajamas and come down to the library, this is a great resource. And there are some waiting lists for some of the longer more popular books and bestsellers, but that option either in the filters or the preferences or the refine to just choose available now, will just filter that list to ones you can literally click on and borrow right away. You don't have to wait for. So that's a good option if you know you want to check something out now. If you've just got a list of books you know you want to read and you don't mind being on hold for a while, then that placehold feature is nice. It'll actually, and I think it was in the slides there, you can set it to send you an email notification when the book's ready, and then either automatically check it out to you, or it will give you 2 or 3 days just to click borrow and check it out to yourself. So. Yeah. I mean, and if any of you guys here want to have a quick try after we're done here, I'd be happy to. If you haven't got the app downloaded, we'll run up and check on your card status real quick.
I have Libby downloaded. I just can't get to it right now.
I'm almost certain that your card is just expired.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of that.
And
Sure.
it'll take 2 minutes to fix.
With COVID, I know I have not been in.
Yeah.
And online, my daughter has usually used her or granddaughter, you know, has gone steered me through on their library cards to look at stuff.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yep.
Now, so I could listen to an audiobook on this.
Yep.
After I listen to it, can you delete it, or does it stay in here? Or is it ever in here?
Okay, it depends which method you do it. If you do it via the browser, I believe normally it's streaming it, so your phone has to be connected to the internet. If you download the Libby app, when you first check it out, there's a little icon next to the book that looks like a circle or a clock, and it slowly fills up. That's it, downloading the book to your device. When it's done or it hits the due date, it will just automatically take that item off your device.
Oh, okay.
So it will not stay on there after you're finished with it, or it reaches that due date. And the other nice thing is, it is a little unfortunate, but let's say you check the book or audiobook out for 14 or 21 days, you don't finish it and you go to renew it and someone else is waiting for it. It will move it on to that next person, but it will say, do you wish to place a hold on this? And when you get it back and check it out again, it'll remember where you were at and just pick up where you left off. So, yeah.
Well, is there any last questions or something you want me to go back over for those on Zoom?
It's going to be a matter of trying it out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, on one of the screens you went through, I saw there was a thing to click for listening from your car radio.
Oh, probably, yeah. So I think, so I know on my car, I actually, so I have the Libby app downloaded on my phone, and I can connect my phone to my car. And I can, so then one of the little apps pops up, and it's compatible to play through my car. And so I can listen to books while I'm driving. So if your car is able to do that, or
The other way you can do it is a little bit old fashioned. If you just have the aux cord, it looks like a headphone jack, it will plug into the headphone jack on your cell phone, and then the other end will plug in. Usually a lot of the stereos in a car will have a headphone jack or an aux jack. You just plug it in, and when you hit play on your phone, it will play it through your car speakers. The only thing I would caution you with that is, unless you have a really good data plan or service on your phone, that is, if you know you're going to be listening to audiobooks while driving, I definitely suggest you download the app, because then that will put the book on your device, so you don't have to worry about being connected to the internet while you're driving around or traveling. The book will be on your device and just play.
Yeah, I don't know where you saw it, but I know what you're talking about
Yeah.
because it's popped up on my car apps all the time.
Yeah, there's so many different types of car stereo now. I think some of the newer, really sophisticated ones are almost like mini computers in themselves, and you can download an app to it, or where they've got built-in GPS and several other things. Some of them you don't need a cord. If you look in your car manual, there'll be some instructions, and you can just connect a device to your car via Bluetooth. And usually it will just be a pairing process like you would if you had a new pair of wireless headphones. Usually there's a button you press on your car to start the pairing process, and then you do it on your phone. And once those devices are paired, a lot of the times, as soon as you get into your car, they'll connect and stay connected, and they'll just play through your speakers. But failing that, I still have one for one of the cars I have. The aux cord works great. You just plug your phone in and set it somewhere on the dash there, or a holder, and it will just play via the cord. So
Yeah.
it is great. I know if you've got a 6-hour drive to Rapid and want something to pass the time, an audiobook is a great option.
My motorhome is set up like that. And it automatically pairs pretty much. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
whenever I receive a phone call, it comes in through the motorhome speakers.
Yep.
That's nice.
And if, I don't know if it'll impact anyone, but if you're listening to an audiobook and a text message or a phone call comes in, it'll just pause your book, and you could take the call and then carry on right where you left off. You won't miss anything. You don't have to panic.
Yeah, the podcasts are that way too.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
There's somebody,
Yeah, so Kathy says here that she has an iPod Touch and she connects it to her car and plays her audiobooks through her car speakers. So that's what we're talking about. Any kind of usually mobile devices, or in this case, an iPod Touch, even some Kindles. That's how my dad used to do it. He would and use the headphone jack and play audiobooks through his car. So
That's the only difficult thing about tailoring this presentation, is that everyone's got a slightly different. They might have an Android, they might have an iPhone, they might have a Samsung, they might have a Motorola, and for the most part, they look exactly the same or very similar, and using the app functions the same, unless you happen to have an older device or something unique about yours. But most of the time, it is easy to do. And yeah, if you get stuck, well, we're here. We will absolutely help you out. Worst case scenario, if it's something we can't figure out, we can always contact OverDrive and see if they've got any solutions. That doesn't come up too often. We've got pretty good at troubleshooting. And like I say, for most people, they just need a little guidance to get the app on their phone and show them how to check something out for the first time, and then they're good to go for the most part. It is pretty user-friendly, especially the Libby app over the old OverDrive app is so much simpler and easier to use. So.
One thing I like is that Libby has a sleep timer, I believe, that you can set, if you want to listen to a book when you're trying to fall asleep, it'll just play for however long you want to set it for, and then it turns off automatically.
That is a great one to point out. I don't know how many of you've done that. You hit play on your audiobook and you're sitting in a chair or in bed and fall asleep, and it's like 6 hours further on and you don't remember where you were at. You can choose a variety of different options, so it will shut off after a certain period of time to kind of avoid that. That is easy to do. Thank you.
yeah, I'm not the most familiar with the Libby app. I've only recently downloaded it. So yeah, it's good to know because I like to listen to things to fall asleep.
10 minutes is usually plenty for me.
Yeah.
I'll lie awake for an hour if I'm not having something to distract me from whatever happened that day. But listening to a book or a podcast or something, I won't hear the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Set it 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. I know this format is a little unusual because we've got people on Zoom and in person, but if you guys on Zoom don't have any more questions, we can sure just kind of close out of the Zoom meeting and we can help the guys here in person, check on the status of their library card and if they need any help on the app. But again, if you guys on the phone do need help getting started, I would definitely encourage you to stop by the library, bring your device in, or just give us a phone call. Like I say, some of you, we may need to just check that your library card is still active and it hasn't expired in the last year. It may be a step as simple as that if you're having trouble logging in.
So any last questions before I shut Zoom off? No? Well, thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciated it. I hope I convinced you to start using our online format because it's a real great that's not what I wanted. Oh yeah, stop share. It's a really great resource that we have. So I want everybody to be able to take use of it. So
yeah, and I guess I shouldn't make assumptions. I will point out this is no way to encourage or discourage you one way or the other. There are plenty of us who use both, and it may just depend on what's more convenient to you. Sometimes when you're traveling, driving out of the home, Libby is a lot easier than trying to carry around 6 books in your suitcase and remembering to bring them back with you. But when you're sitting at home in the chair or in bed, sometimes having that physical book in your hand is nice either. So we have both options. A lot of the titles that are available in Libby, we probably have in print in the collection as well. So it's not like one is trying to do away with the other or anything like that. This is just a different way of doing it, a different format that can be more convenient. There are some people who only use OverDrive and there are some who only use the physical collection. It is entirely up to you guys what's more convenient, what you're comfortable with. And if you've done it one way for years and decide you want to try the other, just ask us and we'll help you get going in the other direction. So.
all right. Well, so thank you for joining us.
Oh, what are we doing? Do you want to mention the digital archives one?
Oh, yeah. Next month, we are going over the digital newspapers on how to access them through the library, whether you're at home or not. So join us again next month on November 5th for our next Lunch and Learn that is also with Ollie. So that should be in the catalog. So yeah, we'll be going over all the different ways to access our digital archives and how to search through newspapers online, which can be kind of hard sometimes. So I already have the presentation put together on how to go through everything and the search parameters and everything. So join us next month. Thank you guys very much. See you next time.